Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Uloma, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, thank you so much for subscribing. So, today I'm going to talk about awakening and spiritual awakening and the processes. So, in case you are on a journey and you don't know that you're on a journey, I'll kind of give you a clue as to because I really did not know what was happening to me. In fact, I was clueless. I was in the dark until finally I got to see the light. I got to the rebirth. Now, rebirth is not actually the final process. This is a process of life. Like you're going to go through several awakenings throughout your lifetime. So this is one of them, and I'm so grateful that I've come to realize, come to know the process. Now, my process might not be the same for everybody, but I believe that there is a similarity. I have looked at other people's awakening process, and everything kind of seems similar to what I went through before I realized that I was actually going through spiritual awakening. And yeah, so let's go. Number one, traumatic events. I'm not saying that everyone is going to go through traumatic events before awakening, but the truth is that for a lot of people who go through spiritual awakening, there's always trauma, there's always trauma. Now, for me, I have all my life, I think from the time I realized consciousness, like I began to think on my own without, influence of my parents or people outside, I began to look inwards. I think that was like when I was in secondary school, 15, 14 years. Some of my classmates then will tell you that I do not go to church. Like I was always questioning people who came to preach for me. And ironically, I had a boyfriend there when I was in secondary school. He was the leader of SUG, Student Union. Is it Student Union? I don't know, but it's like a Christian association. And I would be outside the classroom waiting for him to finish with his teachings and leading people, and we just go home. And one thing I liked about him was that he never questioned me. Like he'll be like, "Why don't you attend it?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." Looking back now, I realized that he respected my boundary. Until today, I still like him. Okay, long story short, but I've always, even people who came to tell me about God, the Christian God, and all that, I always questioned because I never believed in someone who would create people, know them, know their capability, know who they are, and at the same time create things like hell to put people, there based on who they are and what he put in them. It didn't sit well with me, and I never could comprehend the fact that having children now, I mean raising children now, I wouldn't, for example, put a serpent in front of my children, hoping to, I don't know how to explain this, but I wouldn't want to put my kids in harm's way and blame them for falling or blame them for not being able to resist the devil when in the first place I put the devil there, and I know that these people are not able to resist the devil because of the way I made them. So, but we're not going to talk about a Christian God today. We're just going to talk about the process of awakening. So, I've always questioned everything. Now, life and everything happened, and I didn't really take note of that until 2017. Something traumatic happened to me that cut short the process of my life that I was building for so many years. Like, I had no plan B. This particular thing was a plan A, and everything was just going smoothly, bam, until there was this blockage. And the thing was that I didn't give up because I had no other option. So each time I tried to go at it, I get knocked down. Each time I tried to go at it, I got knocked down. I got knocked down so many times. I was like a goat that had like a barbed wire gate or a gate, but there is food at the other side, and the goat keeps struggling head on to take out the obstacle to be able to get that food, but the obstacle keeps kicking the goat back and kicking the ass of the goat. The goat kept falling. I was like that. So I was busy chasing this one thing because I had no options. I had no other plan B. So I was chasing this thing, but each time I go, I get knocked back harder. I get knocked back harder until my body was not physically strong to fight anymore, but the spirit was still there. So once in a while, I'll get up, you know, because I've become so weak. I'll get up again and I get knocked down again. And all of a sudden, as I was getting knocked down by the last traumatic event, it was like a hole opened and I fell into it and it swallowed me and there was total darkness. I could not think, I could not breathe, I could not even pursue anything anymore. So, step two, you go into deep depression. Deep depression, it was that bad that I had to cut friends off, cut some family members off. I just wanted to be alone. I just wanted to be by myself. All relationships that weren't beneficial to me, all relationships that I'm looking back now, I'm glad I did all that because this relationship weren't serving me. But there are a few of my friends that I want to get in touch with. But all in all, the people I cut off were the people that seemed like they were stressed because I could not feel stressed. I was so stressed. I didn't want other stress added on to me. So I just cut off people. And that was depression. I was in that state for 2, 3 years. Okay. Most of the days were spent in my room. I couldn't go out. I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I was just in total darkness. I was blank. And during that blanking state, of course, I had my mind still moving, my mind still hovering. I began to question everything. So, number three, you start questioning everything. You no longer see things the way you used to see them. Okay, you start questioning everything, you start questioning your belief system, you start questioning your existence, you start questioning your life. You have these questions. And when these questions come, you begin to seek answers. Now, for me, I didn't seek answers outwardly. I didn't seek answers in from people, or I didn't seek out answers from books. I seeked answers from, or I sought answers from inside of me. So, fortunately for me, I began to look inwards. And the more I begin to know, the more I began to feel alive, the more I began to awaken, the more I began to get answers, the more I began to see the truth, the more I began to um, break down in indoctrinations, the more I began to face my traumas. So, number four, you are going to face your traumas. Like it's going to come to the surface. Okay, I began to look at my childhood. I began to notice that I've always been on survival mode. Growing up as a child, I had so much trauma that I blocked out those trauma. Okay, I could barely remember some of those traumas because of how traumatic they were, how my body responded, how my mind responded. I blocked them out. So now they were beginning to come to the surface. I used to think that I had an okay childhood, but I know I didn't. You know, I had all sorts of I don't want to talk about my childhood here, but maybe some other time I will talk about it. But my childhood was so traumatic. I was in survival mode all the time. Okay, I was born by two immature parents who really didn't know what to do with us. Um, so I was faced with all that. So everything came to the forefront. I had to deal with those demons. I had to deal with everything. I had to deal with myself and why I became who I am, why I became reclusive, why I became an introvert, why I do not have friends, why I am always anxious for things that I know that at the end of the day they were going to be sorted out. A lot of traumatic events, why I have this avoidant attachment style, especially to my partners. Um, so many things came to the forefront, and these were the toughest times. Like, I would cry every day. my eyes were always red. I would cry. Little things would just make me cry. I was so sensitive. So at some point, the good parts started happening. When I was faced with this trauma, I started allowing myself to heal. Of course, healing is a journey. Healing doesn't come one time. No, it's a journey. So, but starting the process and recognizing the trauma, that was the hardest part. But the road to healing, even though it was hard, was way better than, when I started recognizing these things. Now, we'll now go into the fun part. Now, awakening started happening. Now, what happens during awakening? It's like a whole burden has been lifted from you. Okay, it's like all the weight you've been carrying, all the what's it called again, all the weight, all the imprints of trauma are beginning to fade away. They're still there, but you become lighter. Now, wonderful things start happening to me. I started seeing colors, I started tasting better, I started thinking clearly. I started, now all these things did not happen overnight. They happened within the course of 5 years. So it was period upon period. It was not an overnight thing. But when I started recognizing it was when I suddenly awakened and I was like, okay, what's happening to me? It's like I've been sleeping. Why am I suddenly so aware? Why am I suddenly so sensitive to sounds, to voices, to colors, to taste? Why do I know myself? Why have I come into my consciousness? That was when I started looking back and I started drawing patterns and I started going back and connecting the dots. Okay, that was how I now came with, okay, I didn't realize, not coming from an African home, people did not prioritize trauma, mental health, and all those kind of things. It wasn't prioritized, it wasn't something that was talked about. So I really did not know all those things. It was only I finally awakened. I was getting curious and I started seeing the patterns going back and connecting the dots. So if you're going through these things, it's most likely you're going through an awakening. So everything is then becoming clearer to me. I no longer involve myself in things that are, you know, stressful, toxic. I begin to know that if it's that hard to get, then it's not for me. You know, I now started being in a state of rest. So I don't know what number is it, 5 or 6, you're gonna be in a state of rest. Everything suddenly stops. Everything suddenly stands still. And things start being beautiful again. You want to go out again. You want to seek knowledge. You want to talk. You want to connect again. You become interested in nature. You become interested in the sounds of water. You become interested in going to the forest, in the quietness. You become interested in the sounds of the birds. You become interested in who you are. You become whole. There is no more the instinct, the drive to chase material wealth, the drive to deceive, the drive to, engage yourself in those things that takes a lot of energy. At the end of the day, they do not serve you. At the end of the day, they're not meaningful. You take yourself out of that survival mode. I'm no longer living in a survival mode. Right now, I'm focused on enjoying the moment, being present. And that is what awakening has done for me. Then, after awakening, you begin to come into your true spiritual self. Now, I started getting interested in tarot reading. I started getting interested in clairvoyance, in healing, natural healing. Not just healing of the body with nature, healing of the mind, through meditation and very holistic practices. I started enjoying those things. I started seeking out those things. Right now I don't even take um, synthetic drugs. I take herbal drugs, and I know what to take, and they work for me. So you begin to see a lot of areas that you're gifted. I know that I'm gifted in prophecies, healing. I can speak life to anything, and they come to pass. I'm still on that journey. I'm still learning a lot of things. Yeah. And now I'm beginning to seek a community of like-minded people, people who are into, true spirituality, people who are into spirituality of self, who are those are the things I'm beginning to seek. So I'm beginning to look for a community. I've not found a community yet. I've seen an online community here and there, but I want a physical community where we can both share, where we can all share our experiences. So after awakening, rebirth, like right now, I'm the happiest I've been in my life. I am now so aware. I am now so conscious. Um, I'm contented in where I am. Some people may be looking from the outside and be like, I expected more from you. Well, that's your own prerogative. I'm just content. You know, I'm content with the moment. If I have something to eat today, I thank the animals that sacrifice themselves for me. I thank, the plants. I thank the water. I'm just so grateful for the now. I'm so grateful for the present. I no longer worry about the future. I no longer, look at the past. Sometimes the past, the creeping, because I'm a human being and I'm ruled by emotions. Sometimes you remember the past, but the thing is, I'll recognize it and I'll quickly snap out of it and just begin to live in the moment. So these are the steps of it. Um, I'm not saying that you're not going to experience another traumatic event or more awakening. I heard that in this lifetime there's going to be more, series of awakening. But this is my experience with awakening. And if you're going through this, just remember there is light at the end of the tunnel. Um, you're going to come out well. It's like you're going through a fire branding process, like a sharpening process. You're going through the fire, and at the end of the day, you're going to come out shiny, sparkling, more aware, more awake, more conscious. Now, consciousness does not mean that you're not going to take in the bad things. Of course, there are bad things happening in this world. You're going to actually feel it more. Okay, some people actually go mental because now they feel everything a normal person feels times two. Okay, some people are always in their head, but for me, I've learned to filter those thoughts. And of course, I can listen to the news now without having negative energy, without the news affecting me negatively, because I know that, of course, it's happening, it's real, but I shouldn't let it affect me, especially if I do not have immediate solutions to that problem. So I do not let it just affect me. But now I can just listen. Before I used to avoid the news because of how negatively it affected me. But right now I can just listen and just still be at peace, still be calm, still be living my life. All right, guys. I have more, but if you have questions, please ask me. I think right now, because I have nothing written here, I'm just speaking from my mind and out of my experiences. I know there is more, but I can't remember more. These are the things I can remember for now. So if I remember more and there is a specific question or scenario, of course, I will be sure to bring it to you guys. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.